All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I don't know. Maybe for you it's afternoon. Anyway, I gotta cover this because I was kind of looking through the streets and I'm seeing here, as we know, we kind of talk about Married at First Sight, the show and how controversial it's been. Okay. And the last episode was really, really dramatic. But then what do the experts do was put up a tweet. So we have Dr. Pepper. She's one of the people that I guess help, with the selection process and counseling of the show contestants. She helps with, I don't know, just like Pastor Cal, it's a panel of experts, right? That put together the couples. So I have here, I mean, there's other people that brought, all the, you know, she deleted the tweet, but the first, she put up the tweet, which she now deleted, but the streets. You think you delete something and someone has already screenshotted it, downloaded it, whatever, doesn't go away. So that didn't work out. So she tweets, um, Dear Married at First Sight fans, thanks everyone for being concerned about Chris. I understand, of course. So let me try and explain from my point of view. First of all, we do a lot of in-depth research on people. Not only do they fill out long questionnaires and have several interviews with all three of us, plus producers, there's also an outside independent physiological, oh boy, independent physiological firm that gives tests to applicants at two different times. There is also a forensic researcher looking for any legal infractions in the last 10 years. And we also look a decade back for social media posts that might disqualify someone. Okay, so she's saying that they do all this extensive background check. That's more background check than even the FBI check. That is extensive background check if that's allegedly what they're doing. So she's saying, so there's a forensic researcher, and then we also look a decade back for social media posts that might disqualify someone. All this is to say that if someone gets past all this and turns out to be a bad fit for this process, they have fooled a lot of people. One reason we think this can happen is that, oh, one reason we think that this can happen, I don't know, the writing is mixed up, is that maybe when a person is under stress, people do change a lot when threatened or disappointed. Y'all, does this look like, I mean, she's trying to defend herself and say, basically, she's trying to defend herself and say, why was Chris on the show? A lot of people have been taking shots at her as to how you choose the contestants to even come on this show, and why did we have to witness this kind of thing? And what are you guys doing? But she's almost like making excuses. Like, this sounds like a big old excuse to me. People do change a lot when threatened or disappointed. If I'm threatened or disappointed, I'm not going to be doing all this manipulation tactics, reframing, gaslighting, lying. Anywho, she goes on to say, I also understand why people might want us not to continue filming this couple. The reason we keep on is that we have seen similar train wrecks turn around. So, for example, go to the season in Boston and look at Shawnee's and Jeffrey. Anyway, she's talking about a previous couple that was on a former season and how it's miserable to watch at the beginning, but the man, turns around, breaks down, changes the way he approaches his wife and his life. And anyway, how they're, oh gosh, this tweet is badly, I don't know, she maybe was typing fast. Girl. Anyways, she's saying that he turned his life around, and so that's why they decided to continue, you know, filming Chris and Paige because they might turn around and just like the previous couple, and it's all good. And she went on to say that they're happily married now with a beautiful child. Granted, this is exceptional, but it does happen, and so we watch things play out. Even if the couple doesn't get together, at least one person can grow and gain strength and know more about who she is and what they want in a partner. More time in the experiment also gives us experts more time to counsel, to try and help them work through tough experience. Let me tell you something. I don't care what she has to say in this tweet, but she made a whole bunch of excuses. Nobody, when they're being threatened or disappointed, does all these things. This Chris, who seems to be the most controversial person on the show, is the one that's doing that just because he's just bad. What you gonna do? The person is just the way they are. You can't really say that they're threatened or disappointed. If I'm disappointed in something, I go on the show and I'm disappointed. Man, I don't really like that guy. Mm, he's a little bit, but I would try to, first of all, if I don't really want to film, I could just film with him. I could just say, you know, just film separately. You know what I mean? Let's just, um, you know, or we could discuss what could have been better, or just film out how we're processing in this in a separate sessions. You don't have to like insult the person. You don't have to abuse the person. You don't have to put them through um, any psychological abuse and emotional abuse. Okay, and for what we see played out here so far on the show, there's a lot of abuse going on, like a lot. And I heard through the grapevine that people say that if you think this is bad, watch before it even gets edited. So if what we're seeing after all the editing and he's treating Paige in such a terrible way, Chris is treating Paige in such a bad way, how much more insultive and abusive he is without them cutting out all the bad parts. This is what I heard from around the streets. Okay. Um, yeah, so even if he was disappointed, okay, maybe this person that they matched you with isn't what you think um you would have gone for. Is that the way to behave? Do you abuse a person? I mean, after this, Paige definitely needs counseling. Like she needs therapy, it's extensive therapy because she already has a self-esteem issue. She's already staying there unnecessarily when she doesn't need to stay there. Okay. Now, Dr. Pepper is writing this tweet, which I find, maybe it's just me, but I find it insensitive. You're trying to blame, it's like us. We go through all this extensive process. Okay, you say that you counseled. She also went on, you counsel them, you provide advice to help them along the way. Can we see that? Because we don't really see that on you know, the show when they're going, talking to even unfiltered. Do we see the advice that they're giving them? And do we see the participants taking the advice or not taking the advice? I mean, you're saying that we do all what we can, background check, then give counsel and advice and present them, and they're still adults and they still make their choices. But ma'am, do we see what you're telling them? Because the experts say, we told Paige that she could leave. Could she really leave? And if she could leave, why does Paige feel like she needs to stay and work through this process? You see what I mean? So yeah, they're defending themselves against the fans, saying, look at what you did. You set these people up. You just destroying lives. I thought this was married at first sight. We're supposed to see people getting married. I mean, it's enough drama just marrying a stranger. You don't need to have bad character in the pot, and then we got to see this mess. I don't want to see it. And this is people's point of view. And then the experts are like, well, we did everything that we can. We provide the advice, but at the end of the day, they're still adults. Why is it when something goes down, all of a sudden you're an adult and you've grown? I know some people do that. You know, they don't really do their due diligence and then they want to absolve responsibility and says, well, they're adults. Yes, they are adults, but you guys are the experts. You said you did extensive research, but how comes people in these streets are finding tweets from and you could see the timeline of these tweets of I'll just use Chris as an example because he's the most controversial. You can clearly see information of like his past relationships. He's been engaged once or twice before. I mean, you say that you look up to 10 years worth of background checks, information, social media activity, but yet you want to say like you did everything you can. If you did everything you can, you have people still finding that he was previously engaged very, very soon, possibly still engaged during the time that he applied to get on the show. And, you know, with a baby on the way and all of that's a whole lot of stuff from the time of taping, casting, taping, screening, and all this stuff. And then to get on the show. And then there was a whole lot of stuff that he was doing at the same time, and there was social media activity that alludes to his previous relationships and how close they were. So then that should have disqualified him point blank. But you, Dr. Pepper, said that you did everything that you could, or the experts, the panel of experts did everything that you could, including interviews with the producers. Guys, she just indicted herself with that tweet. That's probably why she deleted it. She deleted it because I mean this indicts all of them, like, you didn't do everything that you can. You probably saw that you could get ratings off of this. Everybody feels that way. Yeah, so they say she was given an opportunity to leave. Well, we all know Paige is showing signs of self-esteem issues. She feels like this is her only thing that she's defined by. And she feels like this is God's test. She doesn't know God for herself to know that the Most High doesn't give you all these horrid relationships. Okay. Um, yeah, so there's no, first of all, she just basically indicted herself with this tweet. I'm just like, I think this is a big old excuse. It's a big old excuse. It's really shabby thing to say. It's careless. You understand? Very careless. Um, and then look, you're here also from Chris Williams himself. He tweeted, this is a recent tweet. He says he saw Dr. Pepper's post and deleted comment. These are the things I took away from her post and delete, as I attempt to not mince my words too, with all due respect. So I'm just reading his tweet verbatim, okay? She referred to me as that man. My name is not that man. I find it crazy that you're making it seem as if I effed up your impeccable track record up, when in reality, you have been an expert since day one, and your track record is 30% of the people you personally put together. Sorry. Whew. When in reality, you've been an expert from since day one, and your track record is 30% of the people you personally put together that are still together from day one. The national average divorce rate is 50%. Yours is 70%. If 12 people stay together out of 39, then that means that there are 27 bad calls, not one. Maybe it's time to retire because a change is needed and everyone sees that, but you. OMG. Well, we all know that most of the couples that get on there get divorced, but Chris, that doesn't mean that makes you any better. Okay? You went on there a whole fool and embarrassed everybody and embarrassed yourself and disrespected yourself. Anyway, listen. One thing I noticed about Chris, he know how to fight. He don't fight when he's supposed to and how he's supposed to. But then when it comes to defending himself, I mean, this is crazy. This is crazy. I don't know what to say. Me, I do not know what to say. But he's again deflecting. He's trying to now turn it back on her. It's like everybody's firing shots at each other, and in the meantime, none of this should have happened. There's a whole bunch of excuses. You have even people, yeah, people in the comments. Chris is the king of deflection. He's trying to use the momentum of anger towards the experts to his advantage. Again, it's still manipulation on his part, right? You say you came on the show to get married, but then you used a bunch of manipulation yourself. So the experts are now letting you slide in because they probably, supposedly, allegedly may want, ratings. But then you, Chris, you're still not off the hook because you also wanted to capitalize on that too, allegedly. You maybe see that as notoriety for yourself. Maybe you're going to get a bag from this whole thing for yourself. And you've done a lot of manipulation. So you can't blame her all the way. They're bad and you're bad. All right? All of y'all bad. Okay? Listen, the whole thing is when they are bringing people together or you're trying to run this so-called social experiment. I don't really consider a marriage even marrying, whether you married a stranger or whether you married for love or you married for business purposes, it is not a social experiment. At the end of the day, these are people's lives. And with all the putting together of people and matching of different people and all what they're doing, they're forgetting the element of how it affects people in a certain way and even how it's going to continue to affect them after the show has ended and the cameras are off. Okay? You cannot just put people together based on the information and facts and you claim, and I'm just going to go on to um the tweet. Okay, she kind of gave a lot of, it was a short thing, but it's a lot of things that can be deduced from that one little statement. You cannot say that you've done all that you could and based on background checks, health checks, social media activity, and based on all that stuff that is written, right? Okay, or interviews. You cannot take that and say, okay, I did all my job. I could put this person together and that's it. And I don't have any responsibility. Okay. At the end of the day, character is what gets you far. So you could, and that comes from, couples discussing with each other or you getting to know the person. By now, they should understand that this social experiment is, you can clearly see that there can be a lot of disasters based on the track record of Married at First Sight, that, couples do not always work out for the most part when you get on that show. It's like a majority of them don't work out. Okay. But character, you can get in the door with beauty. Okay. You can, oh yeah, he cute. She fine. You can get in the door that way, but character is what keeps you in there. 20, 30 years, longevity marriages, is character that what keeps you there. All right. So right from the jump, we look at Chris and Paige primarily. His character is already causing complications in the whole thing. And because he didn't get what he thought was beautiful coming in through the door, he didn't even see the character because he too is ugly inside, But I'm not the judge of people. I'm not the judge of that. But because of his ugly character, he cannot even see the beautiful character. Have you ever seen people? They're gorgeous. but their personality is so nasty. You don't even see that. You don't even see that at all. Guy's handsome, everything like that, but he's stuck up and he's got a very nasty attitude and he lies and things like that. You don't really see all of that. I'm telling you, because his character, as we have seen so far, has been so nasty and so horrible. There is no beauty in there. So hey, there's no door to go through. Okay, you can't even stick a toe in to say, well, you can keep it in and try and make this work. And this is why, you know, Paige herself, if she's choosing, as we are now seeing, to stay in it, even though according to the experts, they said that they allegedly they opened the hatch. They didn't open the front door, but they let out the hatch at the back door and they say, okay, you can leave if you want to. You can leave from this dumpster fire. Okay. But she's choosing to stay because she's working on her character, but she's trying to work with a man whose character is bad. One person cannot have all of this, spirituality and I'm working on myself and good character, and the other person is a straight up narcissist. Like that's not going to work because right now he's totally manipulating her. Even when he's trying to hit at Dr. Pepper or one of the Dr. Pepper, he's manipulative as well. He's manipulative as well, trying to throw hot water back at her and still trying to make himself look good out of the situation. Okay? All his character was bad. But I cannot let the experts off the hook. If you're going to say that you did all these extensive searching and background checks and FBI clearance level, investigation before people can even get on to the orientation, you could have seen that this was not going to work out and it's going to be toxic. You could have also seen that it would not be a very good look, but they don't care. She could delete the tweet all she wants. It's already out there. They don't care. They don't care. Okay? It's all for ratings. And you knew that the character was bad. Okay, he went through all these checks, right? But then another person had also indicated of what it takes to get on the show. You also have to do interviews, right? Don't you have to interview the contestants? Huh? Um, can you pick up, any manipulative things? I mean, there's just so much stuff. I mean, she claims that she did everything and it entails a whole lot of investigation. And she said forensic, and was it a forensic let me see what she said. Forensic researcher for any legal infractions in the last 10 years. Man, I don't know. It's not enough. You could have seen that, hey, this man has got a fiance, he's got a baby on the way, and he's manipulative just getting on the show. Okay? Even before you do any interviews with producers or anything further past the screening, you could have seen that. So I'm just going to throw that out. Okay, the experts can't be let off the hook with this one. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. That is all I'm going to say right now at this point. Okay? So, yeah, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments. Who do you think is to blame? Is it the experts to blame? Is it the contestants to blame? Are they given all the um if something is wrong or something doesn't seem quite right and you have to, they're given the option to leave and they didn't leave. Is it their fault now? Is it Paige's fault for staying and taking all this abuse? Is it the other contestant, Vincent, Eric, whoever, anybody that's offended? Is it their fault if they stay in something that turns out to be toxic? I don't know. Oh, wait, you know what? I do know. It's their fault if you're given the out with no consequence and you still want to stay in it. Then you made the choice. But it still does not leave the experts off the hook. I'm sorry. They're going to stay in the fire. They're in the hot seat. She put out this tweet and indicted herself and the rest of the other experts, by trying to act like as if it's not, really up to them when they choose who gets on the show. And then you have not only experts, you have producers, you have the initial people that make the contact. I mean, there's so many lines of defense that you would have had to go to get on the show. So no, you cannot really absolve yourself. Okay? You just can't absolve yourself. All right? What should have happened? What should have happened? What should the cut? So in the case of Chris and Paige, what should have Paige done? Could she still leave anyway? Could she still leave now? Is it, a certain time can you leave? I mean, those are the questions that's going through, my head. And why is she bringing former contestants as an example as to why they continued filming? Because she tried to put a former cast member and say, well, their marriage, it was really rocky at first and hard to watch, but then they kind of worked out. But that's a different situation, and those are different people. And she later came out and said that herself. What's her name? Shawnee's. I haven't watched the previous seasons, but she was on previous seasons before, and Dr. Pepper wanted to say, yeah, she had it rocky, but then it all worked out. But then that cast member is like, you know what? I can't speak for Chris. I don't know that man. I don't know who he is. So I don't really think Dr. Pepper should bring up past people as a reason why she should let that toxicity go on or support that toxicity. We don't need to see all of that. We don't really need to see. I mean, it makes for good tea. Don't get me wrong. I mean, makes for good talking points, good lessons, good tea on what's going on. But in in other words, everybody's situation is different. Every couple is different. So you cannot use one couple and then say, "Oh, well, we still film because there's so many things that could learn, even if they don't work out together, but they could still learn from it and all that stuff." No. If there's any disqualifiers, that should have stopped right there. The fact that he was recently engaged, like yesterday, and got a baby on the way, as he's revealed, that should have disqualified him. And story. That's it. And that's all I have to say. So, guys, in the comments, hash it out. Let's discuss. And we'll see you later.